Welcome to Watch, Review, Repeat. This is the podcast where two best friends discuss the latest in film and television and then do it all over again the following episode, which is sometimes recorded on the same night.
Back to back.
Back to back. My name is Colton Brown. Joining me for a back-to-back episode is Andrew Meadows.
I am here.
And Henrique Jaime back with us as well.
Back to back.
Almost
like the Eagles 2026 season.
Tush push.
Calling it now.
The tush push is intact. They're staying.
Calling it now. Back to
another
back.
Super Bowl now that they can tush push their way to glory. Well, I found out that the Jaguars are one of the teams that voted to keep the tush push.
There you go.
I'm feeling pretty good.
There you go.
Feeling pretty good about things. So, and fuck the 22 teams that voted against it.
Come
you
on,
know
man.
what I say to those teams?
They voted to get rid of the tush push?
Good.
Yeah, a bunch of people did.
Because
But not enough.
they're a bunch of bitches that can't stop it, and they're big mad about it. So I say,
Maybe
get
lift
good, get
more,
good.
bro.
Yeah, no kidding. What the hell?
Yeah, eat some fucking sausages, Wilson Fisk style. You know what I mean?
Wilson Fisk would
I
stop
know we
it.
talked about. I know we already talked about Daredevil on that last
Oh,
episode.
God. We need to
but fuck it,
recruit
man.
Wilson Fisk for the Eagles line.
He'd be a hell of a lineman. He'd be pretty
He'd be
serious.
good.
Oh,
solid
man.
muscle, just solid muscle.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. We are here for the second part of an MCU double feature. We did just talk about Daredevil Born Again on our last episode, aka about 20 minutes ago for us. But we are here to conclude that MCU double feature with our coverage of Thunderbolts, the latest film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the 36th film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
We're getting old, boys.
Second of 2025, following Captain America: Brave New World, which we disparaged a few times, I think, on the last episode. So perhaps we will do so again on this one. But yeah, Thunderbolts. It's the kind of B-list characters from some other MCU projects that we haven't seen in a few years, but now they're being thrown into a room together. What's going to happen? Well, we'll talk about Thunderbolts later. I think it's an interesting film to talk about because I think we were all at varying levels of excitement, like in the pre-release, like based on marketing and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see if we come away feeling differently based on our expectations, I guess. So yeah, we'll be getting into Thunderbolts asterisk. Sorry, I keep saying it without that. Thunderbolts asterisk, 'cause it's very important. Spoilers, I promise we will answer what that asterisk stands for. Although if you happen to see a poster after the first weekend, you already know, but I'm not going to do that to people. Just because Marvel Studios thinks they can spoil what that damn asterisk stands for after 3 days. I don't feel that way, even if it has been now like 2-3 weeks or whatever. So, do we have I know we did so fucking well. We finally got one. We finally got a totally
back to
embarrassing
back?
dad joke right. But can we
Can we
do
do that back to back?
Back to back. So many back to back things. If we could do it, I don't know. We'll see. Let's see what we got.
All right, boys. Why do dogs make terrible dance partners?
All right, gotta think about this a bit. You know.
Ooh, okay. All right.
So we want to
yeah.
marinate on the maybe the phrase of a bad dance partner. What do they say when you can't dance?
Oh, I don't know if you should give us.
Or
Got-
I can't
got-
dance
got-
because
Yeah.
They have no rhythm.
I was thinking initially of the tail, like someone's up on a tail, chasing their tail, but no. It got no. It's gotta be like silly dad pun though.
Right.
Dogs.
Of course. That's the point.
Something with bars.
this one's more of a riddle than it is.
Riddle. Okay.
That's a
More of a riddle
Riddle.
than a dad joke. I
Yeah.
suppose.
Riddle me this. Riddle me that. Who's afraid of the big black bat?
Why do dogs make terrible dance partners? That's Batman.
Because they're man's best friend.
Maybe it's because they have 2 left feet.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Well,
Oh, that was a tough one.
that one was tough. I think I don't. There's a lot of times where Andrew gives me the answer. I'm like, yeah, that makes, should have gotten that probably. Maybe
I don't know if I
had
would've
another
gotten-
5 minutes. I don't know that I would have gotten this one, so I almost don't really feel that bad.
Okay.
But I feel really good
Well, let me ask you this one. Maybe this one's a little bit easier.
One.
This one relates to
one.
Why can't dogs work the DVD remote control?
Because they don't have opposable thumbs, but that's probably not a riddle or a joke.
Maybe because they always hit the pause button.
I was thinking about something with pause. Shit. What was the phrasing of the question? Say it again. I already know the answer, but
why can't dogs work the DVD remote control?
Okay. Yeah.
It says because they always hit the pause button.
Oh, okay. You got it.
All right, sorry guys. Maybe that one was a little bit.
I might have gotten there
on
the pause.
A little bit rough.
A little bit rough. Oh, we're on fire. Let's start this episode.
Are you with child, Henrique?
Yes, you yourself.
Yeah, you made that joke.
All right. Well, okay. So we didn't totally land the totally embarrassing dad joke on this episode, but maybe instead of having a fact of the episode, we could have
try to make it more fun.
A fun fact of the episode.
I heard all the listeners that listened in between that 20-minute segment, and they said, "Make it more fun."
Yeah,
so,
it's we're doing the inverse of last time, where we started high, went low. We're gonna start low and end high on this one.
In fact, we're gonna start at the second highest building in the world, which is where Florence Pugh jumped out of. The Merdeka. Not sure if that's the right pronunciation. 1118 in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. So she was like, "I love heights. I want to jump it." And apparently, there was some talks about maybe let's not let Florence Pugh do this. You know, she's a big time actress and such. You know,
let's let the expendable stunt woman. So in case she dies, it'll be fine.
Exactly. It's totally okay if she does it.
Or if she were like Tom Cruise, you know, of our Lord and Savior Xenu, then maybe that's different. But as far as I know, she's not. But she apparently convinced Kevin Feige, said, "We got to go through with this. I want to do the jump." She likes heights. So she did at least part of the jump. I couldn't find exactly. I've heard like she did the whole jump and like maybe she did part of it. But she definitely jumped off that building. So when we see her jump, that's her. And she apparently only told like 2 people. She didn't want to worry everybody. And they were there. And she's still doing well. So props to Florence Pugh.
She is alive and well. So that part is very fun. So
very fun.
Yeah. That's cool. I mean, it's cinema, man. I mean, we're gonna be talking about
cinema,
absolute cinema. At least in terms of whether this film qualifies as such when we get to recommendation. But I will say, you know, and you know, your lead actress fucking jumping off a goddamn skyscraper, that's absolute cinema at a minimum. Say what you will about the movie, and we will say plenty, I'm sure. That is absolute cinema. That's some commitment to the craft, I would say. So that was pretty fun. I had seen something about that, and that's very fun. They should have had videos of like Tom Cruise style of Florence being like, "Hey guys, I'm about to jump off this big fucking building. All right, see ya." You know, before every Dolby movie for the past
and then do
year.
it like 16 times.
It's fun. I'm going to do it again. What could go wrong this time? Nothing. These wires keep working. Are they fraying? No, that's fine. Very fun. Very fun. So we do have some news on this episode. Even, you know, it feels a little weird because we're getting nice and chatty about another thing on that previous episode. But we've got breaking news. It's come out in the past 20 minutes. No, just kidding. It has come out far earlier than that. But we will keep this, you know, pretty nice and short so we can talk about Thunderbolts as well and catch up on this episode, I'll say. Big thing. We talked about it a little bit on the CinemaCon episode because it had happened before then, and maybe mentioned in passing subsequent to that as well. But Marvel Studios did a crazy fucking thing. They did a live stream of a bunch of chairs for Avengers Doomsday, in which they unveiled the principal cast of Avengers Doomsday. And it was literally about 6 hours of which they would show a chair. There'd be a little bit of music. It would sit on that chair for like 8 minutes or so, and then it would pan to the next chair, rinse and repeat for a long fucking time, like 6 hours. And I gotta say, I watched this and I was, working as well, and I just
Like
had
live?
I just had it on my desk because it would just change.
Okay,
It would give you the music cue, so you knew like when to look up. Like, oh, that person's in this. Okay, and then I'd go back to typing and doing my thing. So it was kind of fun. Obviously, I don't know how many people actually watched it all the way through, but it got a fuck ton of views. 275 million digital views across some mysterious social media website called X, never heard of it, YouTube and Instagram, and 3.1 million social mentions as well. Number 2 trending video on YouTube after 24 hours. So yeah, people were watching fucking chairs for 6 hours, which is pretty funny. People doubt, Captain America Brave New World kind of sucked. Wasn't great. It was fine, I guess. It's been a real, mixed bag for Marvel, but it is clear that there is still a level of interest in this sort of shit, and this is kind of proof positive of that. So,
yeah, I watched a clip. I was watching YouTube Shorts this morning. Like, how they have the little short fucking videos?
Yeah.
I feel like an old man trying to describe this shit to you guys.
Yeah, I know. They're not a full YouTube video. They're like limited to like 20, 30 seconds.
And one of them was that show that you really like, Colton, with I can't think of his name. The advertising show that was on AMC.
Mad Men. Yeah.
Mad Men?
Yeah, and it was it was the thing about the Heinz ketchup.
Okay.
The absence of the ketchup bottle,
What?
That's what this reminds me of.
Yeah.
Whoever the advertising executive or whoever the executive is that makes the decision to just like fucking videotape chairs, listen, just videotape these chairs and put cues on the music. It's the absence of the actor. It'll draw people in. This person is a genius.
Yeah.
Clearly.
It worked.
Clearly. What a guy,
Yeah.
These are the kind of people, this is the kind of people Marvel needs spearheading their shit, clearly. I mean, it's a very effective advertising tool. Clearly they're making money on just chairs and music.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good, it's pretty, it's intriguing from just from like an advertising or marketing standpoint.
For sure. I mean, it's definitely creative, and the amount of people watched it, it clearly did something. So there's a lot of names in here that are like, yeah, big fucking surprise. But there are some names in here I'm like, actually big fucking surprise. So let's go through this list of names, and what I will say in terms of the fact that we're covering Thunderbolts in this episode. Some of these names are also in Thunderbolts. It may or may not be a spoiler for Thunderbolts. I don't know. We don't know what Avengers Doomsday is going to be, and so don't read into it too much is what I'll say. So in order, in order of chair reveal, I should say, Chris Hemsworth is back as Thor. Vanessa Kirby is the Invisible Woman. Anthony Mackie is Captain America. Sebastian Stan as the Winter Soldier. Letitia Wright as Shuri, aka, well, I guess at this point, Black Panther. Paul Rudd as Ant-Man, Wyatt Russell as U.S. Agent, Tanaquerta Mejia as Namor, the Submariner, Ebon Moss-Backrack as The Thing, Simu Liu as Shang-Chi, Florence Pugh as Yelena Belova, Kelsey Grammer as Beast. Ooh.
What?
Louis Pullman as Bob, Danny Ramirez as Falcon, Joseph Quinn as the Human Torch, David Harbour as the Red Guardian, Winston Duke as M'Baku, Hannah John Kamen as Ghost, Tom Hiddleston as Loki, and
I thought he was stuck.
And here's where things really get spicy. Sir Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier. Sir Ian McKellen as Magneto.
What are we doing?
Alan Cumming as Nightcrawler, the Incredible Nightcrawler. Rebecca Romaine as Mystique. James Marsden as Cyclops. Channing Tatum as Gambit.
Oh my goodness. Oh
Pedro
my
Pascal
God.
as Mr. Fantastic. And the one,
Jesus.
the only, you know him, Robert Downey Jr. as Victor Von Doom.
What's their budget on this movie?
Stupid amounts of money.
$7 trillion.
Why spend $1 billion when you could spend
$1 million?
1 billion doesn't work. 1 trillion. Stupid amounts of money. Several $100 million at a bare minimum. Probably $300 million, I would say. because the cast alone is probably $200 million based on that. So what do we think? Some big reveals there. Some maybe Thunderbolts, some Fantastic Four, some Avengers, of course. Shang-Chi's finally coming back to a movie. But we're getting some fucking X-Men, man. We're getting some old school X-Men. Nightcrawler, Cyclops, Gambit. Gambit's fucking in here, man. Like, what are we doing? What is
That's
this movie?
pretty cool. That's pretty fun.
What do you guys think? Does this get
I don't even know what to think, honestly. My mind's kind of flubber right now. That's
yeah, man. This is the multiverse. This is the multiverse. You gotta go all out. You gotta bring it in, like you know.
This is
I don't need you to show
and
me
presumably this all tees up Secret Wars too. So you know.
Yeah. Wait. I guess notable exclusions.
Sure.
Did you say Benedict Cumberbatch?
I did not.
no.
Did not say Benedict Cumberbatch.
Did not say Tom Holland.
No Benedict. No Bruce Banner. Mark Ruffalo.
No.
Mark Ruffalo mentioned, which is I will say
No Tessa Thompson.
no Tess Thompson.
Valkyrie. King.
There are
King of Asgard.
No, King of Asgard. Maybe not in this movie.
Right.
I don't know. There are. I mean, I can guarantee. I'm not going to put money on it. Don't sue me or anything. There are going to be people in this movie that were not just read out by me. That were not announced via chair. You know what I mean? I think there are some surprises in store. I would have to imagine, whether it's just cameos, whatever the case may be. I think we will see more than just who was announced now. These might just be the folks that were filming, first. These might be people that have more prominent roles and others have less prominent roles. So I wouldn't be surprised. Wesley Snipes could be in there. Who's to say? Mahershala Ali. Probably not.
I don't think so.
But I think we will see more. I think, it is kind of like, all right, Doctor Strange not being in the first of these Avengers movies, that would be surprising, especially the way that Multiverse of Madness kind of left things. But, I do think we will see more. Harry Styles, where is whatever his character's name is? Star
Pip
Fox?
Troll?
Is he Star Fox?
Star Fox?
And Pip the Troll.
Captain Falcon? We got Captain Falcon in here too?
Falcon's here.
Mario.
Do a fucking roll. Punch!
You got Link.
I'm hit Fox!
I think Master Chief might be in it too.
Master Chief could be in it.
Jesus Christ, no. That's going to tank the whole thing if Master Chief's in it. You can't put Master Chief in live action.
Master Chief is going to drive
Joel from The Last of Us could be in it. Wait, no, he already is in a way. Oh, multiverse.
It's like a Sony commercial.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, some interesting things here. Fucking X-Men, man. Like,
that's pretty cool.
Fox X-Men getting sort of rolled into the multiverse. Obviously we did see a bit of that with Deadpool and Wolverine, but to truly embrace it in this sort of way, seemingly, is pretty interesting. So we're gonna get black leather color costumes. What do we think?
Oh no, there's no way. They're maybe like if for the beginning, but like they're gonna get. I guarantee they're gonna get
the Hugh Jackman Wolverine treatment and fucking put him in the goddamn thing finally. Yeah,
for sure.
All right, Avengers Doomsday. Are we feeling a little bit better about it? Does this generate
Doomsday
hype?
Sounds cool.
Let's see. Well, I'm excited.
Okay. All right. May 1st, 2026. Less than a year away. Less than a year. It's approaching.
Wow.
It's approaching. It all leads to Doom. It's in production now. So, less than a year away.
That's pretty cool.
Well, speaking of X-Men, we may be getting X-Men and Avengers Doomsday, but we are also going to be getting a new X-Men film sometime down the line, presumably in a post-Doomsday, post-Secret Wars MCU, side of things. Maybe, once the multiverse saga has concluded and we've moved on to whatever else, Marvel wants to cook up. A new X-Men movie, theoretically with new casts, new versions of the characters, etc. And we have word that, and we knew that this was coming. There had already been a writer announced, Michael Leslie, who was writing a script. We have heard that Thunderbolts director Jake Schreier is in talks to direct this X-Men movie. So obviously, certainly very heavily ties into what we're talking about with Thunderbolts. Of course, to say whether we're excited about this or disappointed in this potential, I think certainly sheds some light on how we might feel about Thunderbolts. But at the same time, I mean, Thunderbolts is obviously, it's a team dynamic, and kind of, I don't know, sort of Guardians of the Galaxy sort of thing, where it's just like throwing people who weren't like built up to be a team, but the team dynamic evolves through the evolution of the film. So you could certainly see there's some similarities in terms of how like you could do an X-Men movie in a similar type of style. But yeah, what do you guys think about Jake Schreier maybe taking the reins here and helming a new X-Men film? Does that intrigue you, excite you? Are you just excited to see a new X-Men movie in general and you don't give a fuck who it is as long as it's not Michael Bay or Zack Snyder? Like, what do you think?
I think it gives me a sense maybe of some things they want to do. Like, I think this director, we'll talk about it in Thunderbolts, likes to get emotional. And I think X-Men is a great property to get emotional, get dramatic, maybe have...
Very topical with it, too. I mean...
Yeah, like we talked about in X-Men 97. I think there's a lot of emotion and drama there.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
So this could work. This could work.
All right. Andrew, does it make you feel anything, this announcement? It's not confirmed, but if it were confirmed, would it make you more or less excited, we'll say?
I'd be pretty excited.
Okay.
I think without revealing too much of what I think about the movie we're talking about, I think that I think it takes a special person to kind of make everybody interesting in a movie. Being able to, I don't know, just to be able to share the spotlight between different core characters and make all of them like equally important and equally, I don't know, just to be vested in each of the characters. I think it takes a unique person to do that. It's not an easy thing to do. So I think he effectively did that in Thunderbolts. I think he could probably do it effectively in an X-Men movie.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I like the X-Men. X-Men's fucking cool, dude.
Yeah,
X-Men's great.
They're badass, I like that they're okay with bringing back at least some versions of the Fox, iterations of those characters. But I am excited for clean slate X-Men, like full, hopefully proper X-Men. Like I feel like 97, just feels like a really great rendition of those characters, and I feel like something closer to that in live action would be really cool to see. But just in general, just like seeing something that's not tethered to the previous universe will be kind of nice, because it's one of those things we're going to talk about with one of the trailers that we have on tap, like the Fantastic Four characters are like, you fucked it a lot. I'm really excited to see you hopefully not fuck it this time, you know what I mean? And I kind of feel the same way about X-Men, which isn't to say that they fucked the X-Men, but like half those movies are dog shit. Like just honestly, they are. And it's not the fault of the actors or anything necessarily. But there's a lot of bad X-Men movies, and I'm just excited to see Marvel Studios truly and properly put their stamp on the X-Men franchise, because there is X-Men as characters, as a franchise. I truly believe, and I don't think they would ever do this, but the MCU could just stop doing non-X-Men stuff for like 20. They could just make 20 straight movie. They could make a whole X-Men cinematic universe. Just Marvel Studios could. Like obviously Fox kind of did that already, but they could. That's how much room there is within that franchise. But I think the joy of maybe seeing it in the MCU is that you don't have to do it that way. You can do it with the X-Men interacting with, I don't know, Spider-Man, Daredevil, whoever, that makes most sense for them to interact with. And I think there's just so much potential there that I hope Marvel Studios is able to capitalize on that. So my thoughts on that. We have trailers to talk about. I sort of alluded to one. That'll be the one we do second of the two that we have here. The first one, we're going to jump to the competition. We're going to get out of the Marvel Studios realm for a quick second, a hot minute, perhaps. We got an official trailer for Superman. We had a teaser previously. We had like a 5-minute extended CinemaCon thing with Crypto beating the shit out of Superman, which is fun. Now we have a full trailer, and we've got a lot more footage here. Kind of the frame story of the interview between Lois and Clark / Superman, and then just a lot more shit going on in this trailer. This is right around the corner, July 11th. coming to theaters.
Holy
this
shit.
is the true and proper kickoff to the DC universe under the tutelage of James Gunn and Peter Safran. This is written and directed by James Gunn. I feel like every time we've talked about it, I feel like at least Andrew and I have been pretty pumped for this, pretty excited for this. What do we think about this trailer? Is it solidifying expectations, increasing them, decreasing them? How are we? What's the temperature check on Superman as of our official trailer coming out now?
I probably feel the same way. I even before getting like a full trailer, just like some of the peeks and glimpses of it, just getting a good feeling about this film. I feel like this is the Superman film we need. There's so much. Like, I like a dark movie. I like a dark story, but
well, then go watch Man of Steel and Batman v Superman. What do you want?
Yeah. But I think in this time in particular, like, I need something to lift me up and feel that hope.
Yeah, no, this definitely feels
this might deliver it. That's what I'm hoping.
The most optimistic version of Superman since the first Christopher Reeve movie.
Christopher Reeves, yeah. So I'm ready.
Andrew, what do you think? Did this do anything?
I'm watching this is a trailer. This is a trailer I actually thought I saw.
But it's a new one.
But this is a different one. Yeah.
Oh.
So while you guys have been talking, I have been.
So you're scrubbing. You're scrubbing this trailer.
I'm not scrubbing. I'm just watching silently. I don't have any audio in it.
Right. Well,
which if I had the audio, I'd expect I might be crying. That's the way.
All right, so it's for the best that you're not watching it truly
right.
properly live. Otherwise, we'd have to sit here and listen to you sob for 5 minutes.
Yeah, I think that this looks like really something. It's not visually dark. It's actually it's quite the opposite.
Bright.
It's very bright.
It's pretty bright, pretty vivid, and I feel like the color palette and the color grading feel very intentionally. Dare
opposite.
I say comic booky?
Yes.
Comic booky,
yeah.
In a sort of bright, vibrant sort of way.
And I feel like that's almost like an intentional like deviation from
it was. It's like they probably shot it and they're like, can we make it a little brighter actually? Yeah, I definitely feel that. Like just the way that the way the colors pop. I mean, it feels so so unlike the last times we've seen Superman cinematically that it is a little like jarring in some sort of way, but also refreshing, I think, too.
And
the colors of that suit, just the design of that suit. I'm he's wearing underwear on the outside, but you know what? He looks fucking cool, man. He looks like Superman.
Yeah, right. That's okay. That's cool. We know what the character is. And like you said, Henrique, I feel like it just and like I said, I haven't listened to any of it. I don't know what the dialogue is, but it feels hopeful. And it feels like it almost feels like Superman is like the best of us. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the vibe I get from it, and it's not the vibe that I've gotten from other Supermans because they've been so dark. So I feel like this is a in spite of the world around me, I'm going to be the best person I can be. You know what I mean? And I think that's very much Superman. I think that's Superman that we haven't seen before, and I'm excited to see it on screen. I think it's going to be very. I think it's going to be a potent movie. I'm very excited about it.
Yeah. I feel the same way. I think your non-audio read on it is definitely right, and what stands out to me is like just also like the camera work feels very dynamic, and just the way that like Superman is moving around, and I don't know, it just feels like it does kind of feel like a comic book brought to life in a way that I don't know. It's like funny because I feel like the DC stuff for a while was like trying so hard to not be comic booky and be as dark as possible, and then it kind of felt like Marvel on the other hand was like, what if we just filmed a thing that looked like a comic book and had the colors of a comic book? And then I see this and I'm like, no, and especially in the context of Thunderbolts, which I think is actually a pretty gray film overall in terms of color grading and everything, and like the palette used, like this just feels so bright. And like, I'm like, this feels like a comic book. Now Marvel's reverted to the dark sort of thing, which is not true, generally speaking. Like, I think, obviously, Guardians Volume 3 was a bright, colorful film. I think James Gunn just likes colors.
James Gunn,
that's my
Gunn's a big
sense.
nerd.
There's nothing wrong with colors, guys.
He says not everything has to be black, white, and gray. Sometimes we can have maybe a pop of red, a pop of blue, maybe
A little bit of
some
green
here and there. Yeah. And sometimes a dog and a big kaiju monster and a Green Lantern doing Green Lantern things with the fucking bowl cut, and a hawk lady with hawk wings, and a bald man who fucking hates aliens and says mean things about them.
Superman.
Yeah.
You don't like Superman?
I'm very much on board for this. Very excited for this. July 11th is not that far off, thankfully.
True.
But it's not soon enough. We've got a good July shaping up. Let's put it that way. A good July, I think. So
2025 shaping up to be.
We're keeping busy, man. We got some shit. Yeah,
got a lot of stuff.
So that's Superman, though. But we have one more trailer if we're ready to move on and talk about our trailer for something I talked about a little bit already, and that is the Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four First Steps, which just a couple weeks after Superman makes its way to theaters, the Fantastic Four will arrive as well. So July 25th, we're beginning our first steps for the Fantastic Four. This new trailer, I think, certainly shows off kind of the same retro aesthetic that we've seen, but gives us a little bit more plot details of maybe what's going on with one Sue Storm, and I don't know, maybe the arrival of a Silver Surfer.
Silver Surfer.
A Silver Surfer. Yeah. So more footage for the Fantastic Four First Steps. It's same question I'm going to pose. Are we feeling different, better, worse, anything based on our what we've seen recently? How are we feeling now?
Still feeling positive. We got our man Pedro. We got Galactus. We got Silver Surfer. The internet is like, how could Silver Surfer be a woman? This is unprecedented.
What if Silver Surfer, but she's a lady?
I've never looked up the internet or read a comic in my life, but sometimes that happens. And
multiverse, man. Multiverse shenanigans.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's literally someone from the comics, but anyways, it looks good. I'm excited for this. I think this was for me the big test, like even before Thunderbolts. I'm like, is Marvel gonna head in the right direction? So I think probably a lot rides on this movie, because if you don't sell this like Doomsday, you're less excited. It's like, the multiverse stuff. But if this lands, like, oh, we're cooking. We're back.
Yeah. Andrew?
I'm real stoked. I really like the 4x3, like vintage looking, film roll interview deals about the Fantastic Four and just like the people of the city glorifying the heroes. I think that's awesome. It almost appears like there's like for example, we just got done watching a Superman trailer where some the people are throwing cans at Superman. Yeah. It's not the case here. You know what I mean? The heroes here are celebrated.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. It's just a different dynamic. And we talked about the aesthetic in Superman. We talked about the aesthetic in this, and this aesthetic is it's very pleasant. The cool blues and everything are just it looks like a very pleasant movie to look at.
Right. It's definitely not as bright as Superman, but it's still colorful.
It's plenty of colors.
And like, right. It's a very different aesthetic because one's very retro versus a modern sort of take. And I think that makes a big difference too. But yeah, no, both
the costumes look comfortable as fuck. I'd like to just have a onesie to walk around the house. Fantastic Four onesie thing.
Some pajamas, cool.
Yeah. Jammies.
Take a robot that cooks for me.
F4 jammies.
Yeah.
A little Herbie makes me dinner. That sounds great.
I am 110% here for a female Silver Surfer. I think that's pretty awesome. I think that's cool. She seems pretty, I don't know, just kind of scary. She seems pretty scary, the Silver Surfer. Also, Galactus is supposed to be really, really, really big, but he's walking around in the city. So how big is how is he able to eat the planet if he's able to walk?
He might be able
through
to
the
just
street.
change sizes.
Maybe
and
he
stuff.
can change
Change
sizes.
sizes,
Maybe
perhaps.
that's a thing.
My understanding is he doesn't literally eat the planet either. He just like consumes its energy, so he doesn't have to like fit the whole globe in his mouth.
Nom nom.
If that makes sense.
He doesn't nom nom it.
Let
He
me,
doesn't
let
have
me,
to
let me
literally nom
drizzle
nom it.
some hot sauce and grab some bites of it.
I always thought he grabbed it like a potato and ate it.
Ram, just like a. It's
I
like
mean,
an
it
apple.
could. Maybe that's an option, but maybe I think there's maybe he has like I feel like he usually has like a machine that like stick this big needle into the core and then fucking drain the juice out of it, and like that's what makes him feel real good. I'm pumped to see Galactus.
Yeah,
we just see
me too.
we just see his big booty in this. Not his literal booty, his boot on his foot. We'll see.
It's like I didn't see that part.
We'll see his big booty on July 25th. Believe you me. But I guess we see there's the silhouette of the big fucking helmet thing.
Right.
I'm excited to see. Hold on, I know this is crazy. I'm excited to see Galactus look like fucking Galactus, and he's not a big cloud monster man.
But
Not even a man,
cloud
just a
eat
cloud,
planets?
just a cloud thing. I'm excited to see that. I'm excited that we see like they show like brief snippets of all the characters showing off their powers. Like we see a little bit of stretchiness, which I feel like they've hidden so far, and it looks fine. So I think the problem with the stretchiness is always like if it's the skin. If you see skin doing the big stretchy stuff, it's like ugh, yucky. And there was so much of that in the old one, like the Tim Story ones, where he's like, he did the thing where he like put his fingers under the door so he could go unlock it from the other side. I'm like, oh, this is horrible. This is horrible.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously
we've
it's
seen
2005 CGI too, but
I mean, we've seen the scariest stretchy things in The Boys.
I was gonna say, where's this
Boys,
going?
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yes,
yeah, we did
okay.
see
The Boys. Yeah, the Boys. Yeah, I've
no,
seen
you're
some
right. You're
some
right.
things.
That's true.
And you're like, oh god.
Scarred for life. Yeah. All right. Well, I think we're all in on the Fantastic Four first steps from the sounds of things. July 25th. Well, sometime after July 25th, I think we'll definitely be reassembling to talk that movie because lots to talk about, hopefully. Hope it lives up to our expectations and hopes and dreams and stuff for Marvel Studios. Like I said, getting the chance to fucking do the Fantastic Four right. It feels like they've done it, but we can't assume that they have just yet. Sometimes trailers can be deceptive, but that concludes trailers, headlines. Is it Thunderbolts time? Who's ready to Thunderbolt?
Thunderbolts.
Oh, yeah, I'm here for it.
The
All
Westchester Thunderbolts, sponsored by Shane's Electric.
I think they were actually sponsored by the tire place. I don't know.
He did not have that kind of money.
Thunderbolts asterisk. What does it stand for? Who? I don't know. Who's to say? It's in theaters right now. It is still in theaters right now. Will probably be in theaters for a bit longer. And eventually come to Disney Plus, and eventually on 4K and all that stuff. But in theaters for now. It's written by Eric Pearson and Joanna Callow, directed by Jake Schreier, who we obviously just talked about a little bit. It stars Florence Pugh, Sebastian Stan, Wyatt Russell, Olga Kurylenko, Louis Pullman, Geraldine Viswanathan, David Harbour, Hannah John Kamen, and Julia Louis-Dreyfus. After finding themselves ensnared in a death trap, an unconventional team of anti-heroes must go on a dangerous mission that will force them to confront the darkest corners of their pasts. Shall we do a box office breakdown for Thunderbolts? Asterisk.
Wah, 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 wah.
Box office breakdown!
That's pretty good. Pretty good.
So Thunderbolts is it's not making a lot of money. I think it's doing okay.
Enrique's doing like the longest
the
drink ever.
summary.
You see him over there?
He's chugging.
Holy shit! Chug, 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 chug.
chug.
Breathe! We need you to breathe, Enrique. Breathe! You don't have to do it for the pod.
The liquid just seems to say the same. It's not actually doing anything. Oh, he's back.
He's back. Holy shit.
God.
The longest chug known to man. Might be a Guinness World Record potentially.
It's all recorded.
I'll check how long that was when I look back. But
okay.
He's back with us. It's time for the box office breakdown. We'll get back to it. Yeah, it's doing okay. Thunderbolts is doing okay.
All right.
It was not expected to have a huge opening, but it ended up, I think, it ended up about $74 million in its domestic opening weekend. And it had a pretty solid drop of only 55% in its second weekend down to 33, which, as compared to something like, say, Captain America Brave New World, that dropped about 68% for comparison. So it definitely held a bit better. But it obviously wasn't starting with a huge number. And it's done okay internationally. So its worldwide kind of tallies around $330 million, working against a reported, I think, $180 million budget. So, solid.
That's decent.
I mean, it's not losing significant amounts of money. They're not hemorrhaging money from this movie. But it's not obviously a rousing success either. I mean, Sinners continues to perform incredibly well, and we're at the point now where Sinners has been out for like 2 weeks longer, and its daily grosses are starting to overtake Thunderbolts, and Mission Impossible is around the corner. So it's just gonna be continuing downhill from here. But I think for what it is, it's kind of, it is kind of these B-list characters from MCU movies and stuff, and MCU TV shows in some cases too. And so it's kind of just like, all right, I don't know how high the expectations were in terms of box office. Like, yeah, obviously you want to make a fuck ton of money, as much money as you possibly can. But I do wonder if they kind of knew that this was not going to be a big movie in the way that obviously you would think the Avengers will. And I think even like the Fantastic Four is probably primed to do significantly better than this, just because there's a bit more brand recognition. Like Thunderbolts means nothing to most people. And these characters probably mean nothing to most people walking in the door. Maybe people like Bucky. Like Bucky's probably the one character I think people might have, some passion for. But other than that, we've seen most of these characters really once a piece, and that's been that. So with the box office breakdown in the rearview mirror, let's talk about this movie. Let's talk about Thunderbolts ***. I guess let's start. I sort of teed it up earlier, so I guess we should follow up on it. What were the expectations walking into Thunderbolts? Were you guys? I mean, Andrew, I know you were not excited about this one.
No.
I thought I was kind of positive even before going in.
Yeah,
I was like,
I think it was like a sliding scale. Like, I think Andrew was lowest.
Yeah,
Henrique was higher, and I was probably highest. I was just like, I think Marvel, because there's such low expectations for this, I kind of feel like, people are like, about who? Who are these fucking people? Why the fuck did they fucking make this fucking movie? I was like, maybe there is like a legitimate idea here that like could work. Like, I felt like it was like a dark horse for this year of the MCU.
Yeah, that's fair.
So.
Yeah. The expectations were in the dirt. I didn't expect much from this.
Okay.
It was one of those situations where I take characters that have been in previous movies that have been squandered. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, now you're putting all the squandered characters together in one movie.
Right, without like one like character be like, oh, like fuck yeah. I mean, again, like Bucky's the closest thing to being a character, where it's just like, all right, this is sick,
and he's totally fine. You know what I mean? But
right,
like, there's
but like it's still missing like a character that would actually make it feel like, okay, this is a Captain America movie. Okay, this is a
right.
the Thor's in this fucking movie, or like they didn't really still have one standout, obvious MCU like returning kind of presence beyond Bucky.
Yeah, and so expectations were in the dirt. What I will say is that the humor, just to kind of like kick off these non-spoiler thoughts.
Sure.
I thought the humor landed 98% of the time. Most of the time, I thought it was pretty It was a pretty funny movie. I thought it was pretty great.
It was like a pretty good. That's a successful strike rate. It feels like.
Yeah, right. The humor hit the right like. It was funny when it was supposed to be, and it was funny for the right reasons, and I thought it was pretty funny. The emotionality, like the connection that you ended up finding with these, like they really leaned into these characters being B-list movie characters,
right?
And they leaned into the fact that they were those kinds of characters, in a huge way. Like it was just self-aware in all the right ways, and that leans into the humor, and that leans into like connecting with a character that isn't a staple. You know what I mean? Isn't like, I don't know, just the most badass, awesome character in the world. They're self-aware for the right reasons, and I don't know, like it connected on so many different levels. For me, I thought that it was just, I think self-aware is the best way to describe it. And I think that it resonates, like with the kinds of characters that it's trying to describe and stuff on screen. It was a very relatable movie, and the characters are very, very relatable. Which is something that, here lately, it's just something that doesn't happen with superhero movies. They're just not relatable. And you're left with characters that you can't connect with. But you can connect with each and every of these characters. What? I can't even talk. You can connect with each and every one of these characters. And I think it really elevates this movie in a big way. Yeah, I thought it was funny. I connected with all the characters in a big way. I thought the cinematography was really interesting. I thought the cinematography was for something that's kind of just another superhero movie. I thought it was very different and fresh. And I thought it was topical, which is another thing. I thought it was topical in the right ways, but not like, I didn't think it was overly on the nose, which I really enjoy something not being overly on the nose,
I mean,
like
compared to the thing we just talked about in Daredevil.
Yeah. Like Daredevil was
100% like mapping onto real life events, and
right, and that's
less so.
And that's not that I don't want to discredit something being super on the nose, but when you can be subtle enough, I think it potentially makes it more approachable to somebody that might have different viewpoints. You know what I mean? Like you can you can say, "Hey, watch this. It's funny," And I think and you might connect with some of the characters, but at the same time, you're also exposing this person to things that they normally might advert to because it's got a different political skew, it's got a different spin on something. So being able to expose people to something that's not totally on the nose, is I think it's an important thing too. So I don't know. I thought current events. I thought it was topical. I thought that I connected with all the characters. I thought cinematography was unique and fresh for the kind of movie that we're watching. There was a lot of innovative things I think this movie did, from the script all the way down to technical stuff. Mm-hmm. And the technical stuff I can't really get. There's a lot of cool technical things that I think happen with the way they did things, but I don't want to really dive into that without going into the spoilers.
Okay, that's fair.
So, anyways, that's my long-winded.
I feel like I see a lot of that. I don't think it's necessarily the most innovative film, or I've never seen anything like this before. Wow. But I think from a superhero movie, it had a story to tell, and I thought it was worth telling. And kind of like you mentioned with it just being, relatable. It's like a really like human story, and I appreciated that. I think that's when these kind of big superhero stories are better, when they can focus on the characters and like the human element of it, because I can't swing through the city. I don't have a super soldier serum. Like, I'm not any of these superheroes. So when you relate to the human element of it in a superhero setting, I think it makes it more interesting. And when people have essentially depression and other mental health issues in superheroes, I think that's actually a really interesting thing to explore, and makes it so much more interesting if you do it well. And I thought in the end they did explore that well, and it made it for an interesting story. So I really enjoyed the experience, and this is probably, so we watched it twice in Dolby.
That's true. Yeah.
And this is my first Marvel movie, but probably the first movie that I've watched twice since Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Yeah, it's definitely. I think I'm in the same camp as far as MCU stuff. I did see Sinners twice.
Yeah, I would have liked to see Sinners again, but I didn't catch it in IMAX. So if it comes back, I'll go check it out. But so certainly not of like all the films, but this made it worth me wanting to go back for a second time. And I think it's been a while.
Yeah, no, and I think that kind of speaks volumes. I mean, Marvel really has been this mixed bag. Obviously, Brave New World we did not see a second time. Trying to remember what the most one immediately prior
Deadpool
was
Wolverine.
Deadpool.
Like, I liked it, but I didn't see it twice.
Yeah, I might have seen Deadpool twice actually. So I guess I would be wrong in saying that, but I mean Guardians is better, so I mean that's why I'm thinking that way. It brought us to a theater twice, saw it in Dolby twice, and I was high on this. I don't want to say high, because high is not like I'm high on Fantastic Four. I was not as high on Thunderbolts going in as I am on like either Superman or Fantastic Four, to talk about those two things that obviously we had trailers for. But I had this feeling that, like, I don't know, it's like the guy that like did a lot of work on Beef, which to be fair I never watched, but people
Beef
really fucking
great,
liked.
by the way.
And we joked about the fucking absolute cinema trailer they had, but like the point of that was highlighting that like there's a lot of creatives involved in this that are like not really the usual suspects for making a Marvel movie, and I think that the reason that this movie succeeds is it's kind of un-Marvel like in many ways. I mean, the third act is not a big beam in the sky sort of thing. It's a sort of heady sort of third act. It's maybe a little bit different than what you might traditionally expect or want to see out of a movie like this. And it is, at the end of the day, focused on obviously characters who, yeah, I mean, they're like, it's a bunch of characters from Black Widow movie that came out 5 years too late. Bucky, who's cool, U.S. agent, who's kind of a douchebag, and the one show that we saw him in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Taskmaster, I guess she was in Black Widow, so that's subsumed there. And then Ghost, who was, like a sort of interesting character who hasn't been seen in, however many years since Ant-Man and the Wasp. So it's kind of just like, okay, am I supposed to care about any of these people? And like Andrew said, this movie is self-aware. Like, no, not really. Like, the point is they don't care about themselves because they understand that they're kind of these, disposable group of people. And that's kind of the point is, what's it like to be someone like that? How do you get to that point, and how do you get yourself out of that point? And like, what does that do to a person? And like, those are the sorts of things like,
am I that kind of person?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Right. Like it reaches beyond the fact that, like, yes, obviously these are talented assassins, or, they can do a shooty big time good, like it. Yeah. Like they're obviously heightened in a certain sense because they're anti-heroes or whatever. They're not really proper superheroes or anything like that. Although U.S. Agent was Captain America at one point, and he won't let you forget it.
For like 2 seconds.
This is a movie that, like, the script really drives it. It's not just plot for the sake of plot. It is plot for the sake of telling story about people and emotions and how to grapple with emotions and mental health and like that's, I mean, again, it's like, I think I said something along these lines with the Daredevil episode, but like, yeah, I mean, maybe that should be the bare minimum in a movie, but like this does more than that. Like it's achieving it in a way that you didn't necessarily expect going in. And not only is it just hitting on things that you didn't expect, but it's also doing them well. I mean, obviously that's key. Like you could try to do these things and fucking suck at it and it would be a bad movie. But it's good that they tried, and it's also it's even greater that they succeeded. You know what I mean? Because the antithesis to this is something like Brave New World, which was like, I'm not sure that you even tried to do anything in the first place, other than just give us a generic superhero movie with not much of anything to say. You know what I mean? Like, you'll have some action bits, and the plot will plot for plot's sake, and that will be that. And you'll move on, and you won't think about that movie for the rest of your life until Avengers Doomsday comes out. And like, oh yeah, that movie did come out. I guess maybe it's related because they're setting up a new Avengers team, and Sam's gonna create a new Avengers team, so that's probably gonna lead into Doomsday somehow. Whereas this is the kind of movie that you didn't expect it going in, but you might think about it a little bit. I don't know if it's going to quite have Sinners levels of impact on you, on how you might think about things or anything like that. But it had something to say, and it told that, and it said that well. And like, again, I kind of feel like that's what movies should strive to do, is have a fucking reason to exist and be able to show why that reason is worthwhile. But I'm going to give credit to a movie, especially when it's unexpected, when it is within the MCU, when it is baked into this big, multi-million-dollar franchise that could and often, and sometimes, maybe not often, sometimes gets away with just being generic,
totally mediocre,
boilerplate, mediocre superhero stuff. This decided let's lean into what this should be because of what it is, and let's thrive with that. So did a really good job. Great cast all across. I thought they were all like Florence. I mean, so it's a sort of funny thing because I kind of feel like this is a loose Black Widow sequel in the sense that like 3 out of the however many Thunderbolts are Black Widow, like characters that were introduced in Black Widow, and Yelena, Alexei, and Taskmaster. Like, I think that I actually rewatched Black Widow. It was like the one thing I did as homework before this, which I liked. I like Black Widow. I know you guys weren't super high on it. I actually listened back to our episode that we did on it back in the day, and neither of you were super. I think neither of you disliked it, but
that's fair.
I was, I think, the only one that was just like, I thought this was actually pretty good, and I still feel that way.
Yeah, I didn't care for that one. I don't think. I don't remember Carrie for it, anyways.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's I still think it's pretty good, but I do think that, like, number one, this is better, but also just like, I think what I said on that was that Marvel getting Florence Pugh felt like just such a huge get, and I still totally feel that way. Like, she's obviously kind of the number one. I think she's the pseudo lead in this movie, even though it is sort of a team up type kind of thing. Like, Yelena is your central character. I think a lot of it is really, the movie starts with her. It's definitely focused a lot around her and where she's at and her place in the world. And it's just, she's fantastic. She continues to bring it. We saw obviously a little bit of her in Hawkeye, which was fun. But and I like that it's not a case of, I don't know, Florence Pugh could do it. Florence Pugh is the type of actor that could absolutely not do Marvel movies and would get tons of work and would be really fantastic. But I like that she is doing this sort of thing, and she's not just phoning it in because she totally could. She's not. And I think that says a lot. And, for the others, I think they're a little bit lesser known, but I really, I think they all did it really well. I think like the whole cast in general had a really fun, great chemistry in sort of an unexpected sort of way. And then that's kind of the nature of what this is unexpected, but still satisfying. So I'm going to say I had a lot of fun with Thunderbolts. I really, really enjoyed it. I think it's a cut above the standard Marvel movie. I don't know if it's going to enter my top 5 or anything. That will require the test of time, but I will say that Marvel for me is 1 for 2 this year so far, and if they can go 2 for 3, I'll feel pretty good about things. And I didn't hate Brave New World. I mean, obviously people can listen to what we said only a few months ago, but this is head and shoulders above it, I think, without question for me. So yeah. So should we move on to
How would you recommend it? Yeah, how would you recommend it?
Well, I think I should change the scale. I technically put it as our standard. Watch it in theaters, watch it at home, be it streaming or buying the 4K or getting paid to watch it as the absolute worst case scenario. I think we need to define it in terms of cinema, right?
Ooh.
Should we? I don't know, because there's.
Well, what's yours?
The top tier would be absolute cinema.
Okay.
Right? Because that's what they sold it as. That's what they billed it as. So it's absolute cinema. I feel like there was something that when we last talked about it, like the trailer.
Pure cinema, is that it?
Pure cinema. Yeah, I think absolute's got to be top tier, and then there's pure, and then I guess just regular cinema. Yeah, we'll go with regular cinema. Absolute cinema, pure cinema. Should we do 2 more or just 1 more? Do we need 1 more? I don't know if we need to go further.
It needs to go lower for sure.
Well, 1 more lower, but one or well, I mean,
what's below cinema? It would just be
shithouse cinema.
Shithouse cinema? Yeah. Television.
Absolute dreck.
Hotel television.
Well, I don't know. That's a low.
That's not the lowest.
A Wrinkle in Time tier.
Oh fuck, Wrinkle in Time. Ooh, Hellboy.
Inhumans tier.
Inhumans, Hellboy. The fucking wiggly thing that comes out in Hellboy. Man.
Yeah.
Ooh.
All right,
the lettuce monster.
Absolute cinema, pure cinema. Everything else, I don't know.
All the shit.
All of the shit. We'll go with all of the shit. All right, we got 4 tiers. You got to pick one. I don't give a fuck if you don't like the scale. We just made it, and it's perfect, and I will protect it with my life. At the top, we've got absolute cinema, a notch below, or several notches, depending on how you want to define it. Pure cinema, and then there's just cinema. Not even cinema, just cinema. And then there's all of the shit. Just all of the shit house.
So you're either cinema or you're shit.
Yeah. Once you get below cinema, you're not worth anyone's time, man. It's just it's all downhill. All of the shit. It's just like it's like if you're like below 5, it's like if you're in 4, 3, 2, 1, is there that much of a difference? I mean, yes. But at the end of the day, is it going to be a waste of your time? Are you going to bother with the cinema?
Like
because if you're not bothering with the cinema, then what do you don't need to do that. So anyway,
different levels of hell. You're still in hell. That's it. Exactly.
And I think we don't need to fret too much about it, because I don't think any of us are going to go that direction with a recommendation. I could be wrong. I don't want to speak for anyone, but I don't think we need to hash that out too much, because I think we can safely stay it's at least cinema or above. So who wants to weigh in whether this is absolute or pure or just cinema?
I'll kick it off. That's fine. I'll kick it off. Pure, absolute cinema for me.
Wait, hold on. I feel like I heard pure absolute, and now I'm confused.
Well, what I mean is,
is it somewhere in between?
I meant no. What I'm trying to say is absolute cinema.
Is this scale confusing you?
Absolute cinema, the best.
All right,
the best.
It's on the top end of the scale.
The top end of the scale for me would be Dune.
Oh, okay.
So Tour de Force?
Dune is a separate Tour de Force cinema.
Oh
man,
it's a secret category.
If Andrew and I ever win the lottery and we should open a movie theater, it's going to be called Tour de Force cinema.
Tour de Force. Tour de Force cinemas. That's good. I like that. I just got goosebumps. That's it.
And we're going to fund Thor 4 Valhalla and show it there. Rights be damned. Sue us, Marvel. What's the worst that could happen?
Tour de Force cinemas. It's fucking metal all the time. Anyways, yeah. So
absolute cinema.
Yeah. We have
it's not tour de force
Sinners,
cinemas, but it's absolute.
You're absolute.
Absolute cinema for me would be Sinners. We got Dune. There's probably a handful of other ones. Okay. I would not lump Thunderbolts asterisks as absolute.
But if you're creating tour de force cinema,
but absolute is a top one.
Wait, hold on a second here. What's the top tier?
Absolute, man, absolute cinema. You can't go higher unless you go tour de force cinema.
No, it's not absolute. It's not tour de force. So it'd be pure, right? Pure.
Okay, pure cinema, pure uncut cinema.
I think I would lump this in with pure cinema. I think this is pure cinema.
Okay.
I identified with all the characters. I laughed. I cried. I cried. I enjoyed watching it. I thought it was fun. I think it's something that you should watch in the loudest, biggest way you can. But it's not absolute, and it's not tour de force. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at. I'm pure. It's pure cinema.
Okay.
I'm probably more confused now than I ever was.
It's pure cinema. What's there to not understand?
Well, it's definitely. I'm trying to figure out: is this a pure, absolute, or tour de force? Is that the highest?
Well, tour de force is not many things are tour de force.
Right. This is not tour de force. I'm going to do a cop-out and say this is absolute pure cinema.
What other movies are absolute pure? Help me place it.
This is just really fun stuff. You know, it's not the greatest movie in the world, but I really enjoyed it. It's a good time.
Interesting. Well, I'm pretty sure I gave Black Widow a very yes, speaking of that old yucky scale that we used to use. So I'm going to say Thunderbolts is better. Therefore... Well, I don't know.
Absolute?
I'm going to say absolute cinema. I'm going to say it's exactly as fucking billed. It is absolute cinema. They weren't yanking her chain. It was absolute cinema. And I feel good about that.
Okay.
All right. It was a bold proclamation. I think they did it. Yeah, okay, it's not tour de force cinema, but it's fucking absolute.
That was like a secret level, though.
Yeah. Right, yeah, that's only maybe Fantastic Four can unlock.
Maybe like a Willy Wonka
secret
kind of
level. It's like once you beat the final boss, you think the game's over, and then it's like, actually, fuck you. You have to do the whole thing over again, but twice as hard. That's tour de force cinema, and like some movies do that, but we're like,
Pure
gold and silver, where you have to go back through Kanto and go through all the fucking original, shit.
Oh, that is fucked up. That is some tour de force shit,
That's tour de force shit right there, Like, that's above and beyond, where it's just like, I respect your game. I don't, I'm like at a loss, based on how...
Just ends at Indigo Plateau, okay? Just ends there.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah. Anyway, absolute cinema, and let's absolutely talk some spoilers for Thunderbolts, asterisk, ... What does that asterisk stand for, you might ask?
So, I'll tell you.
Okay, tell me. Does it stand for absolute
We had
cinema?
some friends over at the house the night after. So, Sarah had her old coworkers over at the house the night after I watched this movie.
Night after, okay.
Yeah, and Abby says, "Hey, Andrew, guess what I watched?" And I said, "What'd you watch?" And she goes, "I watched Sinners." I was like, "Fuck yeah, what a movie. What a movie. Awesome movie."
Cinema,
she goes,
of course.
"I also watched Thunderbolts." I said, "What a movie, right? So good." She goes, what was my train of thought? I just lost my train of thought. She says, "Yeah, it was pretty much just New Avengers." I'm like, "Whoa, nobody else here has seen this movie. You just dropped that on all of them." She goes, "Yeah, it was on a poster or whatever." Like, no. Well, I didn't see that poster, and I didn't see it until post-credits scene, and I was blown away. It's like one of the best parts of the movie is seeing New Avengers. And, yeah, anyways, that's how That's how I came into the conversation with it.
So you did not get spoiled before watching the movie, though?
No, and it was one of the best parts, is seeing the asterisks being revealed as new Avengers, and I thought that was awesome.
Yeah. That was a good moment.
Yeah, that's fun. And I don't totally agree with them like giving it 3 days and then being like, we're going to change all the posters.
Right.
You know?
No,
it does like, it doesn't ruin the plot of the movie in any real sort of way, but it is kind of a fun surprise. And like, obviously we're starting at sort of the end here, but the way that it leads into that whole credit sequence of being like, who the fuck are these assholes? Like, I like all the newspapers and stuff I thought was really, really fun and clever of just being like, what?
And the implications are huge. So, I don't know. I think it sets the MCU up in a big way. And I don't think that's something that they should, like, put in marketing materials or whatever. I highly disagree.
Yeah, it feels like something where they're trying to get people to like, ooh, Avengers.
Right, yeah, let's throw if you throw Avengers into the thing, said people are suddenly interested in the thing, like, oh, it's about the fucking Black Widow idiots. Okay, whatever. You know.
Yeah, you're diluting your review, is what I would say.
But if you're a Taskmaster person.
Well, how'd that work out
you got
for you?
fucked.
Did you enjoy your 30 seconds of screen time? Or your 1 to 2 seconds of FaceTime?
I was like, oh, Taskmaster's dead? Does Taskmaster have healing powers? I don't know about.
Just got fucking burned up in that thing. And
yeah.
The sequence was pretty cool, though.
She had a bullet in her head prior to that, so I think she got double killed.
Yeah, she was dead before she got burned, but this movie's all about the cast, right? Like the cast of characters, I guess the actors, they work really well. This is like probably the most I've ever been invested in John Walker and Ghost.
110%.
It did a lot with these characters who are just okay. I don't care. Like I think
like Florence Pugh, Yelena. I was invested
like Yelena.
for multiple reasons.
And like Alexi is fun because it's David Harbour, and David Harbour's. I like watching David Harbour and cool. things, even when he is in shitty Hellboy movies. You know, he's buried in makeup, so you can hardly tell it's him. So you can't blame him too much. But yeah.
But he was good. He was legitimately funny, and it has heart. Like this movie has heart.
The Thunderbolts.
He gives it heart. He almost gives it all the heart. Really, I mean, in a big way.
It's also really nice. I don't know. It's just like that relationship. I mean, it helps to have watched Black Widow.
Yeah,
but it's done so well. Like when he's talking about her bringing the light. And she talks about it.
Dude, stop it. You're going to make me fucking cry. It's too good.
It's legitimately touching.
It is touching. It's
like when she talks about how she lost Natasha and he wasn't there for her. And they're this like family unit that you saw in Black Widow. It's really isn't a thing
sorry.
anymore.
I don't know. I don't know how to do this. I'm not good.
No
I'm sorry. I don't know how to do this. I'm not good. I didn't know. And you really feel it. Oh, you really feel it. And it's, so good. So good.
It's a really good relationship. Like, I'm going to be there for you when I can, and I'm not always there. But when I am there, I'm driving my limousine while you're trying to escape from a secret hideout.
I'm not there. I'm not there, like, I'm not there because I don't want to be there, too. You know what I mean? It's, I don't know how to be there. And that's a big thing, you know?
Right. Well, and also like in like the most key moment where Yelena is just like I'm such a fuck up. Everything I'm a bad person. All I do are bad things. Like, what is this all for? And he's like, I don't see that when I see you. Like, you know, like I don't see your mistakes. You know, and it's funny because like they have like her line like that was really good. Like that was in the trailer, and it's kind of just like, oh, it's a little quippy sort of thing, but it's like a really fucking emotional moment actually in the movie with the full context to it. And that's kind of just the movie in a nutshell, is a lot of that. Like that's a beautiful moment between a basically father and daughter. I mean, effectively father and daughter, and it's really sweet, and it's really touching. And like, obviously she's not the only one who's dealing with shit, what I mean?
That's the biggest part too, is because it's all transposed onto Bob.
Yeah,
Bob is the focal point of all the characters. All the characters are reflected onto Bob, right? The guy that's nothing, the guy that's just the meth head that is supposed to be something more. And I think that's, I think it was...
And then he becomes something more.
And then it becomes something more. Exactly, right? I think that the whole thing is very poetic. I think the way that the whole story is structured and the way it's executed is... I really think it's perfection. I don't think you can get it much better than what they
cinema.
did. Absolute.
At least that part. Maybe not everything else is, but that part gets you at least into absolute cinema tier. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe we can talk about that. I think it's a very. I think the writing is top tier. Definitely, I think it's very good. The cinematography with Bob and his powers, I thought was really in the sound design. I thought the sound design when the people get blipped out of existence in the shadows.
Yeah.
I saw it in Dolby, and there's a lot of cool visual effects and stuff in this movie, but the sound design in particular for me, I thought was incredible. The way they chose to depict people getting blipped out, it was very cool. So
did your jaw drop when that fucking little girl got blipped though? Did
Oh my god.
it did.
That was rough. That was unexpected.
What is her bad memory? What is she having to experience?
So I heard
the little girl's bad memory.
I heard a take on this.
Okay.
And I guess I honestly don't know if this is not even dark, but I think just as a father of a young child, maybe you can understand, maybe it's scary, but that one Bluey episode where the kid gets lost.
You're gonna fuck me up, dude.
Right? So the kid gets lost in the park for minutes. And it's the most traumatic thing in that little kid's life. But we look at it and it's okay. We're gonna find you. You're gonna come home. Things are gonna be okay. But for that little kid, that was it. It was I'm never gonna see my parents again. It's over.
Well,
Go ahead. I watched a Reddit thing. I saw I think it's "Kids Are Fucking Stupid," I think is the name of the Reddit thing.
No.
And I think I've seen some suggested posts there.
And there's this infant in a car seat that goes to the car wash, and she wakes up mid car wash and she is fucked up. She's
shitting her pants.
Yeah.
Maybe it was that.
I was thinking maybe it was that. Anyways, I'm sorry. That's bad.
No. I mean, this is the core of the movie, though, right? The characters, their relationships, their emotions, and as you were talking about Bob and his something more the century, and then that darkness, that void that's inside. That's
the void.
You have three characters in one, right? So which is really interesting to explore.
Yeah,
who Bob is, who the Sentry is, and who the Void is.
Yeah,
definitely. And I think they did a fucking great job of making all three of them interesting in their own sort of way. Obviously, the Void is kind of a void of personality, but the way that the Void is used as a villain to kind of just deconstruct the psyches of these characters, I thought was really interesting because you see,
because not just Bob's, it's all of them. Right.
Yeah. Right. It's all of them, and we don't see all of them. Bucky is just I notoriously have a really good past, so everything was good for me. You could have had a whole hour of just everyone doing, I don't know, man. A Russian Captain America is probably doing some horrible shit in his life, that he's not happy about, or it's just the fact that he's, not as good of a father as he wants to be.
Right. It's any of those things.
Bucky, definitely at least some Tony and Maria Stark assassinations are going through his head. Probably the part where, Tony's trying to beat the shit out of him and whatever. And Civil War is probably not a happy moment either. They all got shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
You don't
Certainly
see everyone's
Elena.
shit. You see Elena's shit, I think, most prominently beyond Bob's shit of, the Red Room and obviously horrible shit. The sequence with her, luring the fucking child to be fucking murdered, which is not great, not great overall. we would generally say, if I may speak on behalf of the podcast, that we don't condone such behavior.
Yes.
Look down on that.
But yeah, I mean, there's so much room that they could have done. Like, you obviously don't really see Ghost or anything in there. Like, you don't really get much of her. But like, we still see kind of enough with I think a lot of the characters of just like they've all been in a pretty dark place. John sucks at being a dad. He's just kind of a
John's
asshole.
situation was real shitty, dude.
Like, obviously, he's fucking depressed. He had like a moment of glory and then he fucked it, and his life has been shit since then because he's lost purpose and lost meaning, and he just fucking does contract killings for, a scumbag for money. And obviously that's not morally great, but you can certainly understand that every character has this sort of thing, and how they've gotten into this point, how they've arrived at this point, and they all kind of have this sort of dark place that would be interesting to explore had they done more than just Yelena or just the bits and pieces that we see with Bob as well.
Right. I think this actually made me think a little bit about how maybe not for the next movie, but Spider-Man could incorporate Mr. Negative into doing some actually I don't remember I don't know what the world is called, if it's like the Negative Zone or whatever. I feel like that's like the different dimension, but
that does.
But like doing that with Spider-Man, I think
the Void Zone or whatever.
Yeah, I think someone was like, I wonder what Spider-Man's traumatic memories were. It's like there's so many. Like you could pick so many.
But Uncle Ben, Aunt May,
all of them. You can pick any character.
His girlfriend not remembering who the fuck he is, or his best friend.
It's a big one.
But no,
that's the thing, though, is you can pick
real
any
emotion.
of the characters.
Real emotion, real characters that like felt a certain way, like the father-daughter relationship you mentioned, just Florence Pugh and Yelena going through her struggles. Like everyone kind of had their own struggles. Some were highlighted more than others, but I think you look at Bob and like what does, I think they talk a lot about like the serum and such, and you give Steve Rogers the serum, he becomes Captain America. You give Bob the serum, who does he become? And you want to think like Bob inherently is a good guy, but I think the movie generally, I don't know if it's necessarily perfect, but I think when you're trying to pick mental illness and a supernatural element, it can get really sticky really fast. And I think the movie generally did a good job of keeping it focused and contained. So it definitely seemed like they gave Bob some kind of bipolar disorder where he has these like times where like everything is great and like he feels 100% on top of the world swings. And like has these manic episodes, and then there's times where he's really down. There's some like amnesia and other things in there, but it's like, you have good and you have bad, and you have struggles and you deal with them. So in the end, I thought they really explored that in an interesting way, especially for like a superhero type movie.
Yeah, in a way that I think goes against everything you'd expect it to sort of be. I think that to me is what made it stand out, is how it stuck the landing of taking, like it set up a lot of the emotional journeys, and then it really paid it off in a big way and in a way that like was very like creative, like the way that like
it's got to hug it out.
The set design was just like, you're in these little boxes of your fucking memories, right? Cool. Like you go out and it's like a painted on trees. You got to break through the wall, break through a mirror, to get out of that, reality that you're living in. Like that was just really cool, and like sort of again just creative sort of storytelling that you don't see a lot from Marvel,
right?
Like, even the good stuff, it doesn't really get this creative in some ways, I think, overall, so, or dark. I mean, it's pretty fucking dark. It's fucking heavy, man. Like, this is, like... He
was, what did he say? When he was, the chicken twirling the sign, like, he was on meth at the time?
I'm on meth,
meth, man.
I was just I did not think in a Marvel movie will we have a guy on meth in a chicken suit fighting superheroes.
No, wasn't
Like, that was not my bingo card.
No, not for sure. And like, yeah, it's like, Bob is a drug addict, or at least a former drug. No, I think still. I mean, I guess at least prior to his stuff with the Sentry program, like a drug addict who has bipolar or strong mood disorder of some sort, and like they just leaned into it completely. Like that's like telling this person that like, hey, it's okay, like we care about you, and like like we believe in you, and like that, like to me, like the third act is not a big punchy sequence, and like, I mean, to be fair, it is in some ways, because Bob is punching himself, a lot, and but it, like, the way that they kind of come out of that is not that, you know what I mean? It's doing something very, very different from that. And yeah, I mean, it's deep and it's heavy. It's fucking, abuse, it's obviously his father is clearly abusive. His mother is, I'm not going to say any worse, but not helping things either, in the sense that, she's kind of blaming a kid for fucking shit that, is happening there too. Like, it's dark, and it's dark all around, and
real trauma there.
Yeah, it's huge trauma. And everyone's, I guess it's kind of the point, like, they're all kind of trauma bonding over, like, like, oh yeah, I grew up in a lab, and, it's just, I can't survive without wearing this suit, if, or whatever sort of thing, or I don't know. Everyone's kind of got their own baggage and, big fucking horrible shit that they've done. And that's not even just to touch on probably what they've done for Valentina, who is the real villain of the movie.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's just, it's deep, and it just hits and it connects, I think. So, yeah.
No, I was thinking of the action too, because this wasn't the most action packed, but there was still some good action in there, especially like, I thought the scene where they all fight the Sentry.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably like the standout sequence in terms of like action,
like
stuff,
in the Avengers Tower,
just like
your
truly showing
new Avengers just getting completely demolished.
Yeah,
by the Sentry.
Walker's shield gets turned into a taco.
Yeah.
In a taco.
Yeah. No, I mean, we got a costume reveal and stuff, and I was just like, oh, okay.
He's pretty strong, that guy, isn't he?
He's pretty strong.
Sentry's pretty strong.
But why would a god take orders from you? Just like the shit, or it's just like that almost steered it into like boys' territory of just being, it's like not quite Homelander, but it's because he's,
it's pretty much Homelander though.
But it's kind of like, it's like,
go all the way.
One of the few times in like the MCU where it's just like, what happens if a godlike person is just like, nah, fuck you, like, I'm gonna do my thing. Yeah,
it's like you're throwing around the word God a little
like
loosely.
Thor is generally good natured, and like obviously maybe would make a mistake or two, but like he's not fucking evil, and and who might have that sort of power that's not just a straight up villain. I don't know, so it was interesting to kind of see that explored. And that sequence itself was cool, just to see everyone just
pretty cool,
just having a rough go of it against him.
Yeah. No, I thought another standout was Bucky. But like,
Barnes.
Not that he hasn't been incredible in other things, but it's just Sebastian Stan just like has such command of the character. I mean, he's been doing it. This has got to be like his 10th movie or like project as Bucky.
Yeah, he's been doing it a while.
He's 90 years old. He's just been in everything, and he really commands that character. Comes in as a Terminator, basically, on that motorcycle.
Oh, that was fun, because it was
comes
like,
in the motorcycle,
that was
the
really
shotgun.
Fun. Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Sunglasses, just riding in, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's Bucky," and then he shoots their car too, and he's like, "Oh shit!"
That was
it's like the Winter Soldier.
Love that guy.
It's like, what super soldier serum did you get? Hydra. Oh, fancy.
Oh man.
No, it's a good balance. Good balance of stuff. Humor, emotion,
humor,
action,
heart, emotion, depth, complexity. Like it's
fun time.
Yeah, and
fun time, emotional time.
Jumping off buildings, action here and there, etc.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Cool stuff, man. Good stuff.
Yeah.
I forget. This could have been a fun fact. Louis Pullman was not originally going to be Bob. It was originally going to be Steven Yeun. Steven Yeun had been cast in that role in Minari, and Beef. He had to drop out because filming got delayed as a result of all the strikes. So the strikes saved Daredevil Born Again, I think, in some ways. And I gotta say, Steven Yeun, fantastic fucking actor.
Very incredible.
He would have crushed this role.
Would have been very good. I thought Louis Pullman was incredible, though. I
thought
he
was
really, really good. And
he was just the right person for the
So I think that in a weird sort of like, I want to see Steven Yeun in the MCU at some point. Like, I put him in something, but I thought it sort of worked out in a sort of way here with Louis Pullman, who I thought was really good, and also
he was pretty great.
And actually, little known fact, he actually he played Bob in Top Gun Maverick as well, and those it's actually. Top Gun Maverick is now part of the MCU because of that, because he played a character named Bob.
Interesting.
Is that Bob on meth?
Yeah. Well, that's
why he was such a good fighter pilot.
Yeah, he's a fighter pilot.
Yeah, he never goes to sleep.
He's ready to go by the G-forces. His body doesn't react to him the same way as it should, so it's good.
That meth, dude.
All right. Any final thoughts on the movie itself? We've got a couple credit sequences. One obviously a little bit more plot consequential than the other, but yeah. Spoiler wise, anything for the movie? Pre end credit sequence.
A lot of fun. Awesome. Loved it.
Good time. Good time with the movies.
Absolute cinema, motherfuckers. All right. Mid credits is a little fun, little gag. They made it onto the Wheaties box. He shows it off, and she is not impressed. But post credits, a pretty extended sequence here. I mean,
you think that's got to be from the movie, right? Like that was shot.
It's a good few minutes.
Was that shot by the Russos?
It was in fact shot by the Russo brothers. It was not shot by Jake Schreier. This whole sequence was shot on the set of Avengers: Doomsday. Ooh. So there is a possibility that some or all of this footage from the very, very last post credit sequence could be part of Doomsday. Because as we see, they are the new Avengers.
It's been 14 months.
They kind of suck and mostly just shoot and punch people. Like they've got new costumes, they got new gear. Some of them have new hair. Bucky's got a new wig on. Ghost has a new wig on. I think Florence's hair is a little bit longer. Maybe Yelena's hair is a little bit longer. But yeah, no, it's this whole kind of sort of thing. You get a little bit of banter and back and forth, and they've got this. They're in the Avengers Tower, the Watchtower, whatever it is. Like this sort of thing. But then there's an extra dimensional spacecraft coming in. What does it mean? Who could it be? What does that number 4 on it mean? I don't know.
My baby would go, ugh. That's what he does with spaceships. Ugh.
Is that what you did? Is that what you did when you saw that 4?
Prince yell?
I actually got goosebumps. I went, ooh. But baby goes, oh, that's the sound spaceships make.
It's kind of funny because the first time when Enrique and I were watching, there's a thing in the credits and the music thing about the Fantastic Four theme by Michael Giacchino. We're like, I don't rember that.
I was like, wait.
And then it comes in after the credits. So, yeah, I guess they couldn't squeeze it in after the post credits. It kind of defeats the purpose. But yeah, Fantastic Four arriving into the MCU.
Happening.
What, or at least into the Earth 616 or whatever. It's not really sort of, but whatever. It is for our MCU that we know and love and stuff. So, yeah. What do you guys think about that little sequence there? That post credit.
That got me pumped.
Worth the wait.
I actually got goosebumps when I watched it. And I thought it was very exciting.
It feels like the first post credit sequence that was like something, not just.
It's actually gonna happen.
I've ran the probabilities of the numbers, and the numbers say that something is coming. Trust me, because I'm a big green guy with the brain out of my head. Like, okay, all right. The numbers, okay.
Oh, that was actually insulting.
It's just like a lot of them have just been like we don't want to commit too hard, or it's like
here's Harry Styles,
here's Hercules, here's Harry Styles. I'm like, yeah, but we haven't seen any of these fuckers in like ages, so like I don't. Like,
but
this
we saw that
means
spaceship. We saw a spaceship during a teaser or trailer or whatever,
Yeah, and it's also just kind of like. I don't know. Can we go back to the whole idea of like, look, there's Thor's hammer in the desert. What the fuck does this mean? Oh, it means Thor's coming out in like next year or something like that. Like I feel like they've kind of gotten away from like, why don't we just tease the next thing that's coming out?
Yep.
Like, I guess it's a little bit less exciting if like 5 years down the road you're like looking back at this and like, yeah, well, I saw that, you know. But it's still fun. Like, you know, like it should really be about like what is exciting and like means something. You know, it's one thing to be like, oh my God, it's this fucking character. It's Harry Styles. He's an Eternal. Wow, I'm so excited. And there's a horrible little CG man with him, voiced by Patton Oswalt. Like, okay, great. But like, it means nothing. You know, at the end of the day, it really means nothing. Whereas this feels like it's a follow-up. It's the new Avengers in action. And there's some fucking thing. Oh, it's the Fantastic Four. What do you know? That movie's coming out in 2 months. Like I don't know. Like, there's just something about that. It just feels like they haven't done that in like, I don't know how long. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it clearly ties into Doomsday.
Which then, you're right. And it kind of does feel like, I think one of the biggest worries I think that probably we've all had is just like, I don't know, it feels kind of sudden for Doomsday. You know, like very little setup, very little build up. And it kind of feels like, all right, by retrofitting this into New Avengers, obviously Brave New World, Sam set up New Avengers and he's now suing over it. I don't know what the fuck that is. We'll see how that resolves in Doomsday. But between Avengers, that and then Fantastic Four, whatever happens that causes the Fantastic Four to end up outside of their dimension, you know, by the end of that film, or at least as of the theoretical beginning of Doomsday, it's like, all right, it kind of feels like maybe some of the pieces are finally on the board in the way that like before it was just like, Shang-Chi's here, the Eternals exist, you know, and it's just like nothing has really been laying a roadmap. Like obviously the roadmap to Thanos and Infinity War was like kind of minimal in the sense that like, I'm going to pick up this gauntlet and I'm doing it myself. And it's like, all right, well that's still cool though, because it at least
Thor was like in a
thing
bath
that is
and
coming.
Stuff, you know? He like saw some things while he was taking his bath.
He was swimming, you know, had a swim and he had a big swim. He's like, oh, these fucking stones, man. They do something. They mean something to someone. Like there was at least some sort of effort to be like, this is coming. Whereas I think to this point, like obviously we know because of behind the scenes shenanigans, like Doctor Doom was on the plan. We know that. There's no question that, you know, so it's like maybe Fantastic Four does tease Doom because I think Doomsday will be the next film after Fantastic Four. But it does feel like they are kind of moving the pieces together, at least on the chessboard a little bit, which is good. Doomsday has so much work to do to set up not only Doctor Doom, to just get it to a place of being like, why is he the big bad now? I mean, he's Doctor Doom. He should be a big bad, but it's just like, we don't know this fucking guy. Like, Thanos at least was seeded a little bit. So anyway, I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's all coming together. Maybe it is. This gives me a little faith, a little hope, and a little, maybe just a little bit of excitement as well. So,
yeah.
So, yeah. All right. Any other thoughts? Thunderbolts.
That should do it.
Asterisk, which stands for the New Avengers. Ooh. All right. We're good. Okay. All right. Well, then we can catch up on things. I think Henrique, we're gonna give you the microphone because I know you. You were somewhere very, very interesting, very special, and I think certainly Andrew and I, but I think our listeners would like to hear about it from you. So yeah, and
sure.
And other things you've been up to. You
things
don't have to limit
things
yourself.
that we've been up to. So we took a trip over to the land of what was his name from Shogun? The main British guy.
I don't think that's it. Oh,
the Japans.
The
as
Japans.
He would say.
Yeah.
The Japans. No, went over to Japan for a little over 2 weeks in March to April. So this was something that we had planned for a long, long time. I mean, I literally got tickets to this like last April, like a year in advance. So big trip, a lot of people there. So there's a lot of things to coordinate. So, but not going to get into all the minute details, but we went to Tokyo, which is the biggest city like ever. It's just massive. So many places, so many different things to see. There's no way you can see everything.
Is it bigger than New York? I don't actually know. Is it?
No, like and population wise, it's like
ginormous. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
But it probably is like if you got the prefecture, just ginormous. But like there's so much stuff, and like I think I really appreciate the nerdiness side of it. Like there's just Pokemon everywhere. Like you get there and it's just like Pokemon on the walls, and it's like, welcome to Japan, Pokemon, we're here. Nintendo like take a lot of pride in their characters. Like, feel like Pokemon's a mascot over there.
That's pretty
but
cool.
the culture too is just great. Like, everyone's just so kind, especially with them right now dealing with over tourism, just still being so friendly to tourists. And, you know, I think people generally try to be respectful and adhere to customs, but then you see some people maybe not doing so much. But, you know, I think they really are very proud of their culture and the customs, and keeping things organized and clean, and just being respectful. Like, there's just no trash anywhere in both sense. Like, there's no trash on the street, and there's also no trash cans. So you would think that would be a bad like that combination couldn't exist. They're like, I have trash. I don't have a trash can to throw it in. It's just going to be on the street. But there's just no trash on the street. Like, people just know that you shouldn't litter. You can't jaywalk there, so people just don't jaywalk. And it's just something that you don't do, and people just wait. And so I felt like a little bit, in a sense, like my faith in humanity was restored for 2 weeks. I'm like, just people can be respectful and kind of to each other, to the planet. And obviously it's not a perfect place, but it's just nice to experience that culture. We went to Tokyo, Hakone, which is in the mountains where they have natural hot springs, which is pretty great. Osaka, Kyoto, both great too. Different kind of vibes of like city and culture and temples. And I have an uncle who's been living there for almost 20 years now, so we got to see him probably for the first time in like that 20 years or so. So that was nice. He lives more in like the countryside, so pretty cool to experience like city and the country. And then we took a plane down to Okinawa Island, so separate from like mainland Japan. Used to be its own kingdom, but the Okinawan, or like the original kingdom that used to be a separate thing, the Ryukyu kingdom, like completely separate from Japan, is like really where my heritage is from. So it was cool to go see there, and like how that culture is a little bit different. And, you know, used to have their own language too. Now everyone just speaks Japanese, and there's an English American, I guess, presence with the bases, the army bases there in Okinawa. But very cool, very different from mainland Japan. And, you know, but they still got Pokemon. They still got a lot of the things that make Japan unique. And yeah, super, super cool place. Would love to go back and see more, because there's just, you know, no way to see everything, despite it being like not the biggest country. But there's just so much to do, and you can just take the public transit, take the bullet train, and just get to wherever you want to go.
Sounds nice.
Yeah, no, great place. Got to watch some things in the plane and in between.
Okay.
So, you know, we were ready. I think I mentioned we were watching some Japanese things to kind of prepare. So, in particular, just getting more into anime, watched some more Jujutsu Kaisen, watched Violet Evergarden, which is an anime based on a book, which is about a robot cyborg that was like made for war, but then gets turned into a letter writer. So like it was actually a pretty interesting plot. They made a movie of it to kind of condense the story. So it's like 2 hours instead of however long all the episodes are. But I think it's on Netflix too. So that one was worth like a one shot watch. And I was reading a little bit of manga, catching up on the Dandadan, which Andrew, you watched a little bit of it. Did you watch any more of it?
No, I have not watched any more
okay.
Dandadan.
It's on the Netflix, so it's there. Season 2 is announced for, I think, July with a movie.
Okay.
So that should be pretty cool. Very fun. I recommend that anime. It's about aliens versus the yokai spirits.
Yeah.
So that one's pretty awesome. Kind of mentioned that we watched Sinners just the one time, but still very good. And then the thing that I watched the most that I've mentioned so many times, but I just have to bring it up again, is Andor season 2.
Oh, yes, of course.
Just
yeah.
just incredible. Like, watch it and then talk about it, because it's one of the most incredible things I've seen. I thought season 1 was incredible, and season 2 just continues to do that. It's talk about, emotional, like this movie. There were so many scenes in Andor that just had me emotional, like legitimately crying at times.
Feeling for the
like,
people. Yeah, it's awesome.
And just like the way that it touches you, and it's still Star Wars. If anything, it's the most Star Wars. It's just fantastic. But spoiler alert, there's no big lightsaber battles. It's just the rebellion against the Empire, and like, how do you fight an oppressive force? And this was written years ago, but it's pretty pertinent now, and maybe that's why it hits even harder. But you just see it and you're like, wow, like I'm ready to fight. Like I'm ready to do something. And maybe it just takes one small effort. And like, I think back on oh God, not Remy's Manifesto from season 1. You know what I'm talking about? The gentleman on the crew in the beginning, in the first couple episodes where they're doing the heist.
Yeah.
And he just talks about like the oppression of the Empire and how unstable it is, and how tyranny is not a natural state. And it's just, I go back and rewatch some of those speeches, and it's just fantastic. Like Tony Gilroy is just a master of television, and to bring it into Star Wars was just a complete blessing. So,
Tour de Force cinema for Andor.
I would say this is the tour de force. I'll say it now.
The gold standard.
Andor season 2, Andor as a whole, tour de force cinema, TV, whatever you want to call it.
Bold claim. I'll have to watch it.
Yeah, but I stand by it. So let me know what y'all think. But yeah, that's been what's going on recently.
All right, very nice, very nice. Andrew, what's been going on with you, man? We recorded a little over a week ago, but
we've almost finished the Pitt. We have one episode left of the Pitt.
Okay, nice,
incredible show. If you have not watched it, I recommend you watch it.
I would like to. Still watching ER, but I'll get there eventually.
Super, super, super awesome show. Very good show. I think that's pretty much been it, really. I mean, I watched Brave with the baby. He likes that. He got excited about Brave with the bear.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Pretty good show. I mean, it's not like, it's not the best stuff.
Look up like the behind the scenes, or we went to this Pixar exhibit when it was coming through Philly, the Franklin Institute, and they went into like the science of Pixar. And the whole thing about Brave, like each movie had a different challenge, and Brave was all about like the hair curls. It's like, how do you create hair curls that bounce? And the science behind it is just wild. So animation is cinema. So
absolute cinema, and honestly, often in many cases, I feel like probably more on average than just regular live action nonsense.
Pushes the boundaries. The animation stuff pushes the boundaries of the live action stuff, and I think it goes both ways, but it's a very pretty movie. You can tell that she's got some luscious curls. It's
what product is she using? What's her secret? What's Merida's secret?
Maybe it's Maybelline. I don't know.
L'Oreal
or what is that one?
What?
You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know what you're doing there, sir.
You can look it up. Look up the Herb Lessons commercials. It's a real thing. Marketing genius.
Hair.
Look up Herb Lessons commercials. I'm not making it up. It's a real
Head
thing.
and shoulders. It's got little Troy Polamalu like helping her.
Head and Shoulders has had that kind of marketing. Promise you. This is totally. Anyways, so we watched Brave. I also watched a movie called I can't remember what it's called. Oh, Ferdinand. you seen Ferdinand with the?
I've seen like the OG, like I don't know when, like 90s or older. I haven't seen the newer-ish
Ferdinand is
a more recent one, right?
Yeah, it's an animated deal. I don't think it's Disney. I think it's Universal.
Like DreamWorks, or
it's like is it a bowl? Is that a bowl thing?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a bowl thing. That shit was good. That's a good one. That one hit the heartstrings pretty hard for me. Baby got pretty pumped about it. So boo. You know, he got pumped. It's a really good. That one's a really good one. Highly recommend Ferdinand. If you guys just like want to watch like, you know, an animated thing. But the biggest one for us has recently been the Pitt. I can't recommend it enough. That one hits really hard. It's very topical, especially coming out of COVID. There's a lot of COVID references, and it feels like a very relevant thing to watch. And it feels like something I feel like everybody should watch it, really, because I mean it kind of deals with it grapples with the people that handle medicine and the people that we rely on, the first responders that we rely on, and the things that they grapple with. And I think it's an important movie to watch, or important show to watch, anyways. We'd all benefit.
It's all right. Healthcare has never been better or in better hands, so we're good.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I think it's good stuff. I really enjoy it. I think it's good. Anyways, so yeah.
All right. Is that it for you then?
That's all I got.
Right on. I don't have a lot on my list. I have started Andor season 2.
Yes.
Only watched the first arc, which I think the consensus seems to be is probably the weakest of the four kind of main arcs. I don't know if you would agree with that, but it was still good. Let me be clear.
Yeah. I
still
got
enjoyed it a lot.
The kids in the jungle, you know.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. You know, a bunch of bumbling idiots. Yeah. But it seems like it could have some importance, you know, for the rebellion down the line, potentially.
Be an interesting place.
Yeah. Enjoyed it. I mean, I guess the real answer to catching up is I watched Daredevil season 3 and Daredevil Born Again, and Black Widow. But that doesn't really qualify for this section because I've kind of talked about them elsewhere. But yeah, we did watch those. When we finished Daredevil season 3, we were like, we don't want to go like literally right into Born Again. So we did the first 3 episodes of Andor as kind of a, let's break this up a little bit. We're going to go back to Andor next. And I haven't watched any of The Last of Us, the new season.
Oh, yes. Watching Last of Us too. Yeah.
So I definitely need to catch up on that. I have been playing, I've probably put like 6 or 7 hours into part 2. So I'm, you know, probably at a point roughly corresponding to episode 3 or 4 in the show, from what I understand, just kind of following it loosely. But that's also on the list. So we'll get around to that probably post Andor, I guess, unless we need like I say if we need a breather between Andor arcs, but like Last of Us isn't going to be a breather. So
nah, that's not. Definitely not.
I don't know. Probably a post Andor show. Just a real doozy of a thing. Although we've got a lot of Star Wars we're going to watch because we want to watch Rogue One after we finish Andor, and
sure,
yeah, there's other stuff. So almost done with season 1 of Reacher as well, which I think I talked about on the last episode, or not the last episode. I take it back. The episode before that. Where we had the last episode that we had a catching up section on. Yeah, it's been like my I need something to watch that Anna doesn't care about sort of show. And she comes in and comments and asks questions about it here and there, but she's not really paying attention. It's like dumb, but entertaining and stuff. So yeah, I just got one more in season 1, and I'll probably keep watching and watch season 2 or 3 and stuff. So I've been thinking about because there's that new Spartacus show coming later this year. I'm like, what's my next, like, you know, dumb show that Anna's not going to care about that much show? And I'm thinking I might go back to Spartacus because I never actually watched the final season of it.
Oh, really?
I watched everything but the final season, but I feel like at this point I might as well just watch it all the way through. So, yeah, I don't know. Either way, non-movie, non-TV stuff, thing that we did. Anna and I saw Japanese Breakfast in concert a couple times, actually. Don't know that either of you listened to them.
No,
but
don't know who that is.
I'm sure
I had breakfast in Japan.
that's true. You did have. You can. It is a little bit different than the breakfast that you had in Japan. Indie pop. I was trying to figure out what genre they were classified as. Yeah. So they're a originally Philly-based band. I don't think they are operating out of here anymore still. And it's basically the project of Michelle Zahner, who's from Philly. She wrote like a big book that blew up that was supposed to be very good called Crying in H Mart. And yeah, so this is like her musical project, but then when they play live, it's a bunch of musicians. They have like 7 or 8 musicians. And yeah, Anna and I are really, really, really into them. We bought tickets for Friday's show when they announced, and then they added a Thursday show. So we bought tickets for the Thursday show when we were going to sell our Friday tickets. But then Ticketmaster has their bullshit dynamic pricing thing, so that by the time I tried to sell our tickets back on Friday for face value, I had to list them for more expensive than what tickets were going for in general just to get our money back. So it was kind of a bullshit thing. So we went Thursday night and we're like, this is great, let's go again. So we saw them the second night and just kept our tickets. And it was a really good show. And they also, the opener was Ginger Root, who I really, really enjoyed. It's kind of a similar thing where it's like one person's project, but then they have musicians play live. And I would describe Ginger Root, at least live, I think it's a little bit different because it's more electronic and stuff, in the studio stuff, but I would describe them as like Wolfpack plus Hall & Oates plus...
Stop it.
Japan, like anime
Stop
sort
it.
of vibes.
No.
He's not Japanese, to be clear, but just like the kind of production of it and inspirations feels very kind of anime. So anyway, would recommend both Japanese Breakfast and Ginger Root for sure. Japanese Breakfast put out a new album earlier this year called For Melancholy Brunettes and Sad Women, which is good. It's also sometimes for not that sad men like me, who are generally okay. I'm sad about the world in some ways, in many ways. But, in terms of just personal lives, doing okay. So, Enrique and I are seeing the one and only Metallica pretty soon. Just a few days away,
guys.
Memorial Day weekend. So that's the next one. It's like concert season now. Like,
oh yeah, give me
it's
fuel,
summer.
give me fire, give me that which I desire.
Steven sold AC/DC here just the other day.
nice.
He's pretty pumped
Nice.
about them.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
that's cool. Metallica.
So I'm hoping
Vampire.
I'm hoping they play the entirety of Saint Anger and then play it again.
Just one more time, and then that's it.
And they play the whole thing on the trash can as the snare drum. Anyway, I'm looking forward to that. Should be pretty fun. Pantera opening and Suicidal Tendencies. And we could have seen them with Limp Bizkit, but I'm pretty sure I pushed up saying like I don't think I actually really want to see Limp Bizkit. Like it'd be fun for the meme potential, but I don't think I actually really need to see Limp Bizkit live in my life. I don't think I need that. So, yeah. All right. Anyone think of anything else they've been up to, or is that it?
That's it.
Just gonna shout out Severance season 2. I think finish that at some point. Check that out. I liked it. I feel like, I don't know. Some people had different takes on it, but
okay. Andrew,
ending is very good. I think.
Have you gone into season 2? Or did you stop?
No,
after season 1
stopped
and go do
season
other
2.
things? Okay.
I did start the motorcycle show, Long Way Home.
Oh yeah.
It's fabulous. Highly
And that's
recommend.
Is that airing weekly or? So
I think it's airing
just-
weekly.
just-
Yeah,
okay.
weekly drops.
Cool.
So it's fun.
Nice. Yeah. All right. Well, I will say thank you all for listening then. If you enjoyed what you heard, spread the word. We're on Patreon at patreon.com/watchreview-repeat. That can get you early access to all of our regular episodes as well as timed exclusive access to bonus episodes. Our website's watchreviewrepeat.com. We're on some socials, Blue Sky, Instagram, Facebook. Links are on our website if you want to check them out. Follow us there. You can get in contact with us there if you'd like as well. Send any questions, comments, or suggestions. So if you've got something to say, send it our way to watchreviewrepeat@gmail.com if you want to email us directly as well. Intro and outro track is Mechanolith by Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com. licensed under the Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0 license. Enrique, we gave you a thank you on our last episode, but I think the bigger thank you is owed here for spending a weekday hanging out with us, recording a couple episodes. I will say, I mean, it's past midnight, but we're doing pretty okay. This could have been much worse. This could have been much worse.
I could have saved us like at least 10 minutes too. With some of these technology shenanigans.
Some technology things happening here and there.
It could have been way worse. Worse.
This is pretty good. Mission accomplished, I would say. But anyway, the bigger point is thank you for hanging out with us and obviously, talking some Marvel stuff with us. And I think it's nice to have two good Marvel things to talk about. Maybe we are back.
Hopefully we'll have more good projects to talk about.
Upholds the quality, or I guess Ironheart's really the next in sequence technically. So
true.
We'll see.
True.
We'll see.
Yeah. But anyway, thank you. What are we gonna do next? Who fucking knows? Mission Impossible is coming out. Probably worth a theater trip. It's the final reckoning, as opposed to the Dead Reckoning, the part 1 of the Dead Reckoning. It's the final one this time. But we also got TV stuff. Andor. I know, Andrew, you want to watch it, but you haven't started season 2 yet. The Last of Us, you're probably certainly further along than I am. I don't know if you're caught up or not, but
no, I'm 2 episodes in.
Okay, so we're not too far apart. But either way, we've got like 3 big things lined up there, and that's just in May. I don't even know what we've got in June. I think we know that July is going to bring us Superman and Fantastic Four, so we know that June is going to bring you not a movie or a TV show. So you're going to have your hands full pretty soon, obviously too. So we got a lot going on. There's a lot of moving pieces. There's things going on. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. We've got options, and even if we don't cover things in a timely fashion, hopefully we do, carve out a chance to talk about these things at some point, one way or another. So
we always do.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's yet again time to take the listeners out.
Take care now. Bye-bye then.
Later's on the Menche.